The NFL draft is in officially 3 days as this video is posted. The draft will be underway in 3 days, ladies and gentlemen, and I am so pumped for it. In today's video, I'll be giving you my top 32 prospects in this year's NFL draft. I've been on this draft for a pretty long time, a couple months now, and I think I finally finished my final top 32. Why is the cap at 32? Well, it's because that's how many picks will be happening in this year's NFL draft first round. So, because of that, we'll be having a top 32 prospects in this year's NFL draft. By no means this is how I think. This is no mock draft how I think all 32 picks will go, or do I think all of these players will be drafted in the first round. I'm pretty certain that majority of these players will be drafted in the first round, but some might fall into the second round, if not later in this year's NFL draft. Today it is April 20th. The draft is in 3 days. Today's a Monday. Gotta get the Mondays out. But we're gonna have a great time this year in this year's NFL draft. If you guys have, before we get into number 1 to 32, make sure to subscribe if you love NFL content, NFL draft content, and especially the Washington Commanders if you're a Commanders fan. Hopping right into this, let's unveil number 1. Also, you guys can probably see what it is, but I'm sorry if it looks like the Epstein Files. Jeremiyah Love is my number 1 prospect in this year's NFL draft. Why? He is a blue chip running back. He is a blue chip player, and I think this is a player that I think this is the best running back prospect since Saquon Barkley. I think he's a little bit better than Bijan Robinson, and he's obviously better than Ashton Dente, and he's obviously better than Jamar Gibbs. So Jeremiyah Love is this year's number 1 prospect in this year's draft, and this is about a player that the Commanders are heavily mocked to select at 7, which is great in my opinion. By the way, while I'll highlight all of these, you probably see who it is before I unveil who it is, so you guys might already have an idea. Number 2, you guys can probably see already, Arvell Reese, linebacker / edge. Albert Reese is number 2. Why? Because he's such a high ceiling type player. This guy has a ceiling of Micah Parsons, who is arguably the best player on defense. That's not named Myles Garrett. Albert Reese is just a more prolific Micah Parsons, in my opinion, coming out of the draft. And I think this is a guy that, well, if he gets some time to develop, he can become one of the best players in the NFL, and that's why a lot of people have going to the Jets, a team that might want to develop more players instead of trying to go for, to try to win games now. So that's why Albert Reese is number 2. He does have a pretty low floor, though. He could be a bust, but his upside is so good, and I think regardless, he's going to be a good football player at the very end of the day. Number 3. Priority. It is Caleb Downs. Why is Caleb Downs number 3? Well, he might be an undersized safety. He might even play primarily be playing the least valued position for a safety, but he's more of a weapon. He can play. Whoever's saying this stuff on Twitter about Caleb Downs, he can play every single aspect of safety on defense. He can play anywhere. He can play that anywhere, and he will succeed. He's a player who will be an all-pro type safety and become probably the best safety in a very long time in the past decade. Calling it now. This guy has all-pro, all-time Hall of Fame safety written all over him. Do not hesitate to taking this guy at your selection. Number 4. Ruben Bain. A lot of people have been sleeping on Ruben Bain. Ruben Bain is such a good player. He might have really short arms, but that also gives him a little bit more of an advantage and a little bit more of a versatile type archetype to him. He could be moved inside a defensive interior, which is why I have edge / defensive interior for Ruben Bain. He could very well be one of, if not the best edges in a pretty long time. I think one thing about Ruben Bain that will be said a lot is that he can be moved inside for pass downs where he could just outmatch any guard, any center out there, but be put out at edge on rundowns, which could be very valuable for any football team. And this guy should very well be a top 5 pick in my opinion, if he falls even more than that. But I think he's a really good player. People should not really hesitate that much on him. Number 5. Sonny Styles. Sonny Styles is one of the most athletic linebacker prospects we have ever seen. He is the best athletic. He is the most athletic prospect at linebacker we have ever seen, ever. And also what he does super well is that he's also just a really good linebacker. He's really good at what he does. He can do whatever you need him to do. He is going to be an absolute great linebacker. I'm imagining this one for the Commanders. Comparing up with Leo Chanel, 2 absolute great and athletic linebackers. I do think there might be some bust on Sonny Styles than people might think. And also, a lot of people I've been seeing lately on Twitter, a lot of stuff I've been seeing about Sonny Styles on Twitter is that people are saying like, oh my god, he's not a top 5 pick. He is. He's a top 5 player in this year's draft. He is so good. He does not miss tackles at the linebacker position. And he can, if you need him to, you can move him down deep at safety. He can do whatever you need him to do. Yes, that is 3 Ohio State Buckeyes in the top 5. Number 6, you see him, Fernando Mendoza. I do think that talent-wise, you could easily put him down to like 20th. I remember PFF had Jane Daniels at like 29th, which made no fucking sense. Jane Daniels was very clearly the second best quarterback coming into the draft. Really, very clearly, if you watched any sign of tape, you could tell Jane Daniels was clearly a better quarterback than at least Drake May. But they had him down at like what? 29? 20th? No. Jane Daniels was very easily the second best player in that year's draft class, and I think he's proven that so far in his career. Either way, Fernando Mendoza, you could, talent-wise, you could probably, and arm strength-wise, you can put him down to like what, 20th or 25th, anywhere around that range. Problem is though, he won. He's a Heisman winner, and he won the national championship. He has such an ability to win games that you really can't teach that. And Fernando Mendoza, for what he's done, has to be a top 10 prospect somehow, somewhere, because like he is a good quarterback, but he's not the best, and he's not going to be the best. He might be a little bit of a better number 1 selection than Cam Ward, but like at the same time though, he's not all that. He's not all that though. I'm not gonna lie, but for what he is though, I have to put him at 6. Number 7, another Ohio State Buckeye, Carnell Tate, wide receiver out of Ohio State. This guy, he's the best wide receiver in the draft. He's better than Jordan Tyson. I'm sorry that Jordan Tyson, he has a little bit of bend, he has a little bit of twitchiness that is cool and all. That's not going to be super cool though when he's injured every single year and misses at least 5 games. We have seen what that has looked like. These twitchy wide receivers don't last that long. They just don't last that long, right? So I can't imagine a guy like Jordan Tyson can be better than Carnell Tate. What he does, he's an elite route runner. He is an elite route runner. Don't let these absolute nobodies on Twitter tell you otherwise. He's an elite route runner. He's one of the best deep threats we have seen in a very long time, probably since Brian Thomas Jr. He has some of the best. He has the best hands I have ever seen since Marvin Harrison Jr. 2024 draft class. But even past that, he has top 2 hands in the top. Sorry, I swallowed something. Oh my god, what the fuck? Ugh. Sorry. Wish I had some water with me. No, he has top 2 hands in the past 10 years in any NFL draft. He has a 0 drop rate this year, and I am sorry, this guy played 11 games and couldn't get that. And you're going to say he didn't get 1,000 yards? He played 11 games. If he played 12 games, he's probably hitting 1,000 yards. If not, if not what? If not like what? Like a little more. If they went any further in the college playoffs, which they should have, he probably would have had 1,000 yards pretty easily. Fernando Tate is the best wide receiver in this year's draft class, and if the Commanders select him, great pick from my opinion. Number 8, we got Mansfield Lane. Don't even have to show you. Mansfield Lane is the best cornerback in this year's draft class. I kind of came around to that because of the fact that Mansfield Lane has literally the best. He's the best in press man. He does get the job done very, very, very easily. He can do whatever you need. You can do whatever. He can absolutely cook up whatever. He can do whatever. He can guard anybody. He can guard almost anybody. He has an insane passer rating allowed. He only allowed 13 catches. He has more interceptions than touchdowns. He's a typical press man type cornerback. And you know what? He's a top 10 talent for sure. And when he ran a 4.38 40, man, oh my God, that just upped his draft by top 10 in my opinion easily. So, yeah. Number 9, we got Francis Maui Noah. Oh my God, I hate Google Docs so much. Francis Maui Noah. Why is Francis Maui Noah out here in the top 10? Well, he is the best tackle in this year's draft class. He is really good in pass and run blocking, and he can do literally whatever. He can be moved inside, even at guard. He can probably be moved to left tackle. But the thing that's so valuable is some of these teams in the top 10 already have the left tackle. He is a right tackle, so I do imagine teams like the Cardinals, the Giants even, some other teams, even past the top 10, who might want to pair up Francis Maui Noah with their left tackle and just have some of the most generational tackle duos for their future quarterbacks. So maybe I'm Jackson. No, he's not that good. He's not that good. They might draft another quarterback in 2 years. Next player, we have David Bailey. I don't understand the hate about David Bailey. I don't know why people are saying that he's going to suck in 3 years. He is the best pass rusher in this year's draft class, and I don't think it's close. Yes, he might have some issues at run defense, but he is a really good pass rusher, and he is a good prospect in general. Whoever says that he's not worthy of a whoever says he's not a top 10 prospect in this year's NFL draft is purely lying to themselves and are purely just coping. Clearly, because they just don't want an edge rusher. But David Bailey, he's really good. He can do literally whatever you need him to do, and he is a really good edge prospect in this year's draft. All right, okay, and that's not what I'm trying to do, buddy. Next player, another cornerback, Jeremiyah McCoy at Tennessee. This guy, you could definitely say he's a little better than Mansfield Lane. I don't think so anymore. I was kind of thinking that a little bit. His pro day was pretty good. Like fluid. He's fast. He is 2 years younger than Mansfield Lane. He is pretty good in press. He's pretty good in man. He's pretty good in zone. He's definitely like the outside 10 looking in, because of the fact that maybe if he actually just played some snaps in his year, maybe I would have had him over a guy like Mansfield Lane. But you know what? He could very well be better than Mansfield Lane. I would not be surprised. I still think they're going to be two really good cornerbacks at the end of the day. But I think regardless, I think Jeremiyah McCoy is going to be a good cornerback. Same for Mansfield Lane. So kind of pick your poison. If you have Jeremiyah McCoy, who might be a little more athletic, who might be better in zone, who might be better turnover to football, and Mansfield Lane, who is just a lockdown type cornerback who is a little older and not a tad less athletic. Number 12, we have Jordan Tyson. His workout videos look pretty good. He looked pretty fluid. But now he's playing against, in this workout video, I'm not gonna lie, he was playing against air. He was literally just playing against air. Yes, he did an unnecessary jump that looked super cool. Pretty impressed me just off of a physical standpoint, but in a football game, that's not going to work, unfortunately. If not the ball is just a little bit higher up, you jump up that high for it to be at your waist, if not at your hips, you're doing a little too much there, man. But Jordan Tyson, he's really good. He probably has the best separation ability. Really good hands. Now, if he just honestly, he's a lead route runner. He's great at gain separation. If he didn't have injury history, I think he's better than Fernando Tate. But because of that, I have to put Fernando Tate over there. I go with a more of a consistent player who has just like I think they're like the same talent at the end of the day. Just Jordan Tyson, just like Fernando Tate is just way better. Has way better hands, and Jordan Tyson's way better at gain separation. So it's like, right. 13, we got another wide receiver, Makai Lemon. This guy is going to be a great slot wide receiver. He's going to be one of the best slot wide receivers day one. I imagine he's going to be one of the most nastiest wide receivers. He has a great yak ability, and he has a good catch point. He has a really good route tree, and he's pretty good at route running. So there's like not that much that you can hate about a guy like Makai Lemon. He's in the slot. I mean, some people think the word slot in the NFL is like a slur. I don't think so, but hey man, you can think whatever you want, bro. You can think whatever you want. 14, Monroe Freeling, left tackle out of Georgia. I do think he is the best pure left tackle in this year's draft class. I think he's super good at pass blocking. Not that much at run blocking. Like there is some question marks at run blocking, but outside of run blocking, he's a really good prospect. He's super athletic. No question about that. I think he's an athletic freak, and I think his combine absolutely let him excel the board a little bit more. I definitely see a team like the Browns taking a guy like Monroe Freeling at 6, but as right now, he barely makes it the top 15 prospects in this year's draft class. Top 15, another offensive lineman, Vega Ione, guard out of Penn State. Woo! Vega Ione is a really good. He's the best guard in this year's draft class. His talent he's pretty good. Some people might think he might go to the Commanders at 7. Some people might think he goes top 10. He could, but I think more of his draft spot is more early 20s. He is a top 15 player in my opinion in this year's draft class. So I do think that he is a great player personally, but I just think there's some people that have just excelled a little bit more than Ione. Also, guard is just like not as valuable as these players like left tackle, cornerback, quarterback, edge rusher, wide receiver, blah blah blah. But yeah, Ione is definitely a prospect to. I would be happy. I think Ione at any point people should be happy with, and I do think he's a pretty good player. Number 16, I can't even see it. Spencer Fano, right tackle / guard / center. Why does he have 3 listed positions on my big board? Well, he at the combine, he played some guard reps. He played some center reps, more center than guard. So he's listed as the right tackle, but he can definitely be moved in to center and guard. Why? Because he also has really small arms like Will Campbell. And I think what the Patriots could do with Will Campbell is move him down to guard. If not, keep him at left tackle. I think left tackle is more of a disadvantage for your football team. But put him at guard, he could be electric. Same for Spencer Fano. He could be an electric guard / center. If not, I don't think right tackle might be his long-term solution, might be his long-term type position, but I think he could definitely be moved into guard or center. Let's go to 17. Kenyon Sadiq, tight end out of Oregon. The thing with Kenyon Sadiq is that he's a tight end. He's 6'3". I think he's a little bit more undersized for a tight end, but he's super athletic. He's super fast. He's super athletic, which might warrant him a top. Which warrants him the 17th spot in my big board. So he's definitely a really good player, and he's super talented. Just he's a little bit undersized, and of course he's a little bit of a tight end. And some people have him being drafted higher than Brock Bowers was. I don't think that's justifiable, because Brock Bowers is one of the best tight ends in football. So can Sadiq be one of them? Can be like Brock Bowers? Probably. Maybe. Who knows? But just have to wait and see. But he is right now. He is in the final big board as the 17th spot, number 18. Yep, Keldrick Falk. A lot of people have said they will kill themselves if they select Keldrick Falk. The thing with Keldrick Falk is, yes, he's not the best pass rusher in this year's draft class, not even by a long shot. He's not. He's still raw at pass rusher. He still had a season where he had 9 sacks, by the way. In his sophomore year, he had 9 sacks. Do not forget about that. Do not forget about that. He has 2 sacks this year. The thing about him, he's so young, and he will immediately become one of, if not the best run defensive edge rusher in the entire NFL. He is so good, and at the very least, you're getting a good football player because he can do something called run defending at an elite level. He is an absolute freak at run stops, and he can do. And honestly, he's a physical freak. He's 6'6", 285. He can do what you needed. He can do whatever you need him to do. So, like, really, what's so wrong with a guy like Keldrick Falk? What's so wrong with that, right? Keldrick Falk, he can get the job done. He can. So, I think Keldrick Falk, in my opinion, could very well be one of. The thing is, no, hold on. He's gonna be a raw edge rusher. If you can develop him into a pretty good, if not, you can develop him at edge rusher, at pass rushing. He might be one of the best edge rushers in the entire NFL. So I don't understand why some people have him at like oh, I'm gonna kill myself if we select Keldrick Falk. He's not that bad. Number 19, Dylan Thieneman, safety out of Oregon. Dylan. So the thing with Dylan, he is more of a box safety. He has more snaps in the box than deep. But the thing is, though, he is one of, if not the best coverage safety out of the 3 safeties that are projected to go in the first round. Dylan Thieneman is a great coverage safety, and he can tackle too. He's also super athletic. You could definitely flip flop from like 14 to 19 and put Dylan Thieneman as far up as 14 and replace him with Monroe Freeland. But the thing with Dylan Thieneman is that like, did I spell his name correctly, by the way? Did I spell his name correctly? I spelled his name correctly, thank God. Oh, that's kind of embarrassing. Sorry. I know Dylan Thieneman, what's up with him is now he's just a super good coverage player and he's super athletic, and I do think that he's gonna be a really good safety, and I think a good team that he might go to is the Vikings. Replace an all-time white safety with another white safety who could maybe become an all-time safety as well. So, now we'll find out when the draft comes here in 3 days. But like, don't sleep on Dylan Thieneman. He's good. 20th, we're at the 20 range now. Peter Woods. He is a really good defensive interior lineman. why has he fallen from like top 5 down to 20? Well, he didn't have a good junior year. He's still young. He's a good pass rusher, and he's good at stopping and run. He just had he didn't have the best junior year, and he didn't stand out at the combine as some people thought he would. So unfortunately, for Peter Woods, he has fallen in a lot of people's big boards. But I am still a little bit higher than most people actually are at Peter Woods. He could go top 10. He could very well go top 16. But I have him currently on the big board at top 20, and I think a really good spot for him to go is to the Bears 25. So Bears fans, on draft day, man, let's hope you guys get him at 29 or 25. So yeah, 21, if this thing can actually work. A cornerback from Clemson, Avion Terrell. What does Avion Terrell do so well? He is a really good man press, and he's also super good at blocking. I used to call him an Emmanuel Forbes type clone, but I watched more film of him. I'm like, never mind. This guy is completely different. Why? Because he is just a better coverage player, and he's not just a pick merchant. He plays at more of a prestige of a school than Emmanuel Forbes, and he could very well be one of the more underrated / he could very well become a top 10 cornerback in the NFL, just like his brother. So, I really do like his upside. He's pretty athletic as well, so just like his upside's pretty high. So I like that a lot about Avion Terrell. Number 22, another Clemson player, T.J. Parker. Another Clemson player that was projected to go top 5 in this year's NFL draft, but unfortunately fell. Why? Because of the underperforming junior year. T.J. Parker, in my opinion, is the most explosive edge rusher in this year's draft class. He is super explosive. He has a great bend. He can pass rusher at an elite level. He can stop the run at an elite level. I'm still not off the TJ Parker hype. I still think he could become one of the best edge rushers in the NFL. But unfortunately, he just didn't show that this year. He's still pretty raw though, and he could be developed a tad more, and he could become a great edge rusher. I don't think he's gonna come off the bat in his rookie year as a really good edge rusher, but I think give him a year or two, and he might develop into one of the best edge rushers in the entire NFL. TJ Parker, everybody. Number 23, wide receiver of Indiana, Omar Cooper. Omar Cooper, in my opinion, is more of a interesting wide receiver. I think he's a big body frame who has a really good catch radius. Who knows where his feet are. Who he has good ball tracking skills, and I think it very well. Some people have him as a wide receiver 3 in this year's draft class. I think he's a top 5 wide receiver in this draft class regardless. I don't think I'll put him with a guy like Jordan Tyson or Mekhi Lemon, but he is definitely up there, and I like him a lot. I had him at 23 though, so yeah. 24. We got Denzel Buastian, wide receiver out of Washington. He is another Rome Odunze clone, in my opinion, just with less draft hype. Why? Because obviously Washington didn't go to the national championship. If Washington went to the national championship, this guy might have more top 15 hype. He's not as good as Rome Odunze coming into the draft, but he is still a really good prospect. He is what's up with Washington creating these big body contested catch wide receivers? I don't know. Did I spell Denzel wrong again? Did I spell his name wrong? Oh, I definitely did. Yeah, I spelled it wrong. Not Denzel. Denzel. Sorry. What the fuck? Sorry. I've never fucked up that bad. Alright, so he's really good in contested catcher. He's a great red zone threat. The only problem I have about him is that he doesn't create that much separation, but he's a pretty good route runner. He's still a good route runner in my opinion. He just struggles to get separation because his cuts are maybe a little too slow. He could be developed a little bit more, but this guy will immediately become one of the best contestants. But he will immediately come to the NFL and be a really good pass catcher, contested catcher in the NFL. Number 25, Caden McDonald, which is surprisingly actually the police for the Bears are picking this year. Now, why did I mention that? Well, let me explain. Caden McDonald is defensive interior player coming out of Ohio State. But the thing about him, though, he is the best interior defensive lineman at stopping the run. He is just up there with Kedrick Falk at stopping at run defense. He might be a little bit better, maybe. I don't know. But he's elite. An elite prospect at stopping the run. And what do the Bears suck at the most last year? Yes, stopping the run. Caden McDonald might just be one of the most, in my opinion, one of the more maybe we take him there. Maybe we take Caden McDonald there. They really could. I wouldn't be surprised if they did too. So, Caden McDonald, personally, he could be developed a little more pass rush, but he will immediately become a good player because he can't stop the run. Big frame too. 25, get a safety out of Toledo, Emmanuel McNair Warren, safety. He's pretty athletic. He has a decent frame. Good ball hawking skills. A team that I think he might go to is the Eagles. They like taking Toledo DBs, and you know what? I think he is just he might be just on par as a guy like whoever they took into the 2024 draft. I forgot what his name is. I don't know, but I do know he's one of the best cornerbacks in the NFL. But you know what? He's good ball skills. He can play in the box. He can play deep. He's pretty good at coverage. He can do what he needs. He can tackle pretty well. So I do think he is. But he is at the 26th spot in this year's in my big board top 32. Another wide receiver. This time I'm pretty sure out of somewhere in Texas. Texas Tech? No. Texas A&M. Sorry. Texas A&M. I'm pretty sure Casey Concepcion. He is a player that he's a player with good hands. A player who has good route running. A player who is fast. A player who has great yak ability. And a player who can return punts, return kickoffs. He's like a Deebo Samuel. This guy's more of a gadget guy. But this guy is super good. This guy can become a really good player in the NFL. And I think that he will become one of the best players in the NFL. No, I don't. I think he'll become one of the better wide receivers in the NFL. Maybe around top 20, maybe top 30. We'll find out. But I do think he might succeed the most as a complement towards as wide receiver 2 or wide receiver 3, in my opinion. So who knows? I might see him. I see him maybe falling out of the first round, maybe. But I can also see him being one of the last picks, or maybe a top early 20th pick in this year's first round. So we'll find out in 3 days, though, of course. Now, I got a little wild card right here. Jacob Rodriguez, linebacker, this time out of Texas Tech. Sorry. Why Jacob Rodriguez? Well, he's one of the best players at turning over the football, and he can do that. He very well can do that. He has a great ability to do that. He can turn over the football at an all-time college rate. He might be a little bit undersized, but he can stop the run. He can cover. He can get interceptions. He can force fumbles. He can do whatever you need him to do. All right, and I do think he's my linebacker 2 in this year's NFL draft. #29. R. Mason Thomas. R. Mason Thomas is another one of those explosive linebacker edge rushers who has a pretty good, if not a really good bend. I like him a lot. I think he's explosive. He's super good at pass rushing. He's not as good as David Bailey, but I think he might as well. He might be a top 4 pass rusher in this year's draft class. So a lot of people are steep on him. I think he's definitely a top 30 player, and he might. If he sneaks, if he goes in the first round, do not be surprised. Keith Abney, the second cornerback. Keith Abney, I don't know why a lot of people are sleeping on him. He is a super good cornerback who a lot of people might actually have fallen a little bit in the draft this year on day 2. Maybe the Commanders, will find out, of course, but I think very well. I think Keith Abney can become a really good outside cornerback. He can be moved anywhere. He can be even moved in the slot if you really want him to. But he's super good at coverage. He's super good at man. He's really good at zone. And he doesn't. He did not allow a high pass rate at all. That's what I like to see out of cornerbacks in the draft. Another cornerback, Colton Hood. A lot of people don't have Keith Abney over a guy like Colton Hood. Colton Hood's definitely really good. Just there's just he has the talent. There's just some tick speed that kind of like with him. So I don't know that much about Colton Hood though, but he could very well be a very good player in this year's NFL draft. And I think he could go early, like late round 1 or very early round 2 though. 32. Emmanuel Pregnon, guard out of Oregon. The final player, Emmanuel Pregnon. Why Emmanuel Pregnon? I just think he's a good player. I just think he's a really good player at guard. He's really underrated. I think he'll go at the top of the 20s. In my opinion, I think he's gonna go first round. I really do think Emmanuel Pregnon will be in the first round, if not one of the first 2 picks in the second round. He's a super good guard. And a lot of people sleep on him. I don't understand why, but you know what? I think he's super good. He's really good at pass blocking. He's really underrated at run blocking too. He's also he's a little bit older, but I still think he's a super good. So that is my top 32 players in this year's NFL draft, guys. I hope that you guys enjoyed. Make sure to subscribe if you guys haven't already. If you love NFL draft and Commanders content, you should automatically subscribe. You will not regret it. Obviously, have a good look at this. This is probably one of the most realistic and one of the, in my opinion, the best top 32 big board that you will see in this year's NFL draft. So, now get ready for the draft, guys. It's gonna be a great time. Tomorrow, I'll have my top 32 prospects for the Commanders. Completely different. A lot of these players are kind of mixed around. We have some of it like day 2 type prospects too. So we will see. Make sure to subscribe. Make sure to like and all that type of stuff. And obviously, make sure to eat some great food. See you guys next one. Peace.